We've been to Singapore, we've been to Bangkok, we've been to Jakarta, we arrived last night to Manila, and we got by far the best welcoming so far. Thank you for the welcome. Now, given that we've only had 12 hours in Manila, and then we had a couple more hours in the other cities, so far I've been extremely impressed by Bangkok, and I think I will be equally or maybe more impressed here. Let's see.
Okay, all right. Michael, what do you think?
This is some of the people that know what happened last night. Well, I guess if you know what happened last night, you know I will love Philippines forever and ever. We got up around, we went to bed around 6, and we've been talking term sheets with the startup from I think 10 until 6 this morning. I love the shit.
Okay, so maybe maybe we can just follow that up with a bit, and maybe can you just tell us what you think are like the key differences that make the Philippines stand out compared to other Asian countries?
Well, like Deshaun said, we've been here for a few hours. That's going to be difficult to translate. But what I've seen yesterday is pure dedication and passion for startups, and I haven't seen this passion in a long time. I was really impressed. What I'm curious about, and maybe we can learn that today, what actual problems are these startups solving in the Philippines? I'm quite curious what's happening on that front.
To add to that, obviously, we got an extremely good welcome, so I can't say that maybe this is the average, but what I got extremely impressed about last night was just actually the people. We primarily invest in people. And I was quite surprised that there were quite a few that we met last night that have actually started quite a few businesses as well. It was a big surprise for me. I would have expected that most people would have only started their first enterprise. So this was really, I got very, very impressed.
Okay. Maybe I can ask a question to Earl. So Earl's in every space. I know that Earl understands the opportunity on the ground. And I also understand from Earl that Earl spent a lot of time building a presence for Idea Space in Silicon Valley over the past several months. So my question to you is, how are you selling the Philippines in Silicon Valley? What are people saying there about the Philippines? What kinds of people are interested? How do they want to engage? Maybe you can give us an idea of that.
Yeah, sure. So I was actually quite surprised. So I gave a talk in Stanford about 3 months ago and expected only maybe 10 people to show up, right? And all of a sudden, 200 people showed up in my talk, right? So I was quite surprised, and then half of them had no connection to the Philippines, but they were curious on what the opportunity is. So I think in general, on a high level, the macroeconomics makes sense, right?
What do you mean the macroeconomics?
Right, so I mean, one of the highest growth GDPs in the world, right? Part of the ASEAN region, which could diversify their portfolio out of China, right? There's 100 million people here, so it's a good critical mass. 10% of the population is, outside the Philippines, so there's a big remittance corridor, about $20+ billion. And there's also a BPO corridor, which is about $20+ billion. So everybody's saying, you know what? There's something going on in this country, and then people is curious because it's an English-speaking country as well. So it's also, people are saying, could this be a soft landing spot for example, a Silicon Valley company, European company, to actually establish a testing ground in Asia, right? Because there's a lot of elements here. So it's, as Doyle mentioned, it's a European, American influenced Asian country. So can this be like a test ground for it? And that's kind of how I sell it. And actually it came from a case study that I learned from one of my professors, which is Taco Bell wanted to go to Asia, and the first market that they looked at was the Philippines. And Taco Bell startups kind of different, right? But that's kind of, I think, when people are curious. So different types of companies, right? Emerging market focused companies, social companies, Bitcoin companies, remittance companies, all of them are like talking to me, like cold emailing me on a daily basis from all over the world. So it's quite inspiring that I think this is a time where there's a big spotlight on the Philippines, and it's about how this community actually reacts to the spotlight. Right? So, the next 12, 18, 5 years of the 12, 18 months, 5 years of the Philippines will define, I think, the next 50 years of this country.